welcome back to my channel. This is Hope with Alex. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I got sober and how I got saved. It's all going to be a lot, okay? So just buckle up, get ready. If you're trying to get sober, if you've just been sober for a little while, a long time, this is a great video for you. And then if you're a Christian and you just want to hear a great testimony, this is also an excellent video to encourage you in your faith. So thank you so much again for being here, and let's get into it. Okay, part 2, how I got sober. I was walking into the community college high on heroin and crack, and there were people handing out Bibles. And this is where I know God was in my life. And I bet if you look at your story and there's weird times that have happened where you can't really explain what happened, that's God. Because I guarantee you that God has saved you so many times in your life from ODing or from a car accident or from a near-death experience. I bet you can find it if you look for it. So I walked up to these kids who were selling Bibles. Why would a heroin addict walk up to people handing out Bibles? My whole thought was, let's go see what these Christians are doing. Like, I did it out of spite. But it's so funny how the Holy Spirit and God moves, and I ended up opening up to this woman a little bit about my story. I ended up going back the next day. So again, God, why would I go back the next day? And the woman presented the gospel to me. She told me that I can live a new life, which nobody in my whole life had ever told me. And as an addict, I think you just feel like a screw up, and it's like, why even try to change? Because this is who I've always been. This is who I'm always gonna be. And I don't have a reason to change. There's no point. This is just who I am. I'm a screw up. So for somebody to actually tell me that Jesus died so I can live a new life, any life I want, it really struck a chord in my heart. And it made me realize what this girl is saying could legit save my life. And another part of me was like, screw it. I've tried everything to try to get sober, and nothing has worked. So when she asked if I want to, pray the Lord's Prayer with her, I said yes. And I literally felt forgiven. I literally felt a weight off my shoulders when I opened up my eyes after we prayed the prayer. And that is a moment that I point to often, where I know God is real because of that sensation that I felt. And I didn't feel high anymore. It was bizarre. It was incredible. So I said the prayer, but unfortunately, I didn't get sober right away. It still took 2 months of relapsing to finally have another big moment that I attribute to how I got sober. So number 1, I think it was truly surrendering my life to Jesus. And then number 2 was what I'm about to get to. My brother called me, my older brother, and he said, Alexandra, somebody just passed away from ODing on heroin. This girl I'm dating, her brother passed away. And he said, I don't want you to die. And it's just so cool. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cry, but this is just my brother who's now in heaven due to his fight with addiction and depression. And it's just so cool to see how Albert has, like, he's been in my life so many critical moments. You know, he just helped me so much in my life, and especially it just all comes into focus once you lose somebody. You just are like, you just realize all these beautiful things that they did in your life. And he definitely was one of the reasons why I got sober, because that phone call really hit me, just like that prayer hit me. And it made me really realize, okay, I know I've been saying that maybe I could die, but him saying, hey, this girl I'm dating, her brother is dead, and I do not want you to die. I love you. It was like, okay, like, all right, I get it. This is dangerous. I really could die. And I realized I don't want to die. I'm only 19 years old, and I haven't done anything I'm really proud of. Like, I feel like I hadn't given life a shot. I just have been running since I was 13 years old. I've just been avoiding my emotions and my feelings, and I just felt like, gosh, if I died, like, what a waste. I haven't really given this a shot. So a week later, after that phone call, this is probably the third thing I'd say that really attributed to me getting sober. Second one was that phone call with my brother, making death a reality. Third was I got on my knees and I prayed to God. And I said, God, if you're real, I need help. I cannot get sober. I've tried everything, but I literally can't quit. I don't want to die, but I don't know how to stop using. Please help me. And the next day, I text this girl who I had her number and asked if she'd meet me at a coffee shop and be my sponsor. And I smoked the last bit of my heroin because I'm an addict and I've never thrown away drugs. So I went and met with this girl, and I have been sober since then. Woo! So that was a lot. That was a lot for me. That was a lot probably for you. We made it. Good. Tips as to how I stayed sober in those first 6 months to a year, because those are the hardest. They are the hardest. Even with God, even with everything, it's so hard. And there's 3 things that I really think you need to do if you're gonna make it through those first initial months. Number 1, which you probably already got an idea of, is surrender. Surrender to God. And I know in AA they say surrender to a higher power. So yes, if you're not cool with the word God, surrender to a higher power. But you have to surrender to something. Not someone, something, because you need help. You need to just lay it all down and just be like, I screwed up. I don't know how to live my life anymore. I need help, God. Help me. I'm not holding on to anything anymore. I am letting go of everything. I am willing to be a total mess. I am willing to face all my demons. I need your help. Take it. So you have to do that, because if you keep holding on and you keep trying to do little parts yourself, you're an addict. You don't have good skills of coping mechanisms yet, and you're gonna relapse. It's just the truth. So you have to surrender to God. Number 2, which is huge, is you have to forgive yourself. And the amends in AA, they do go over this a little bit, but you're mainly making amends to other people, and you can kind of get distracted with doing that, and you can forget about how important it is to forgive yourself and really forgive yourself, not just kind of go through the motions and write it out on a piece of paper. And I mention this because, like I said, that adult industry stuff came up again around 6 months, and I really had a moment with God where I realized I am still holding on to this shame. My family has forgiven me, my friends have forgiven me, and I know about Jesus and I believe in him, and I know he died for my sins, but I still was holding on to that shame, and I was carrying that shame. And I really had to get on my knees again and say, God, I have to give this to you. If you really died for my sins, you have got to take this adult industry stuff, because if you don't, I can't live with the guilt. I can't. I'm gonna use, because I'm too embarrassed, I'm too ashamed to live like this for the rest of my life. And obviously, I'm good. I made it, and that is a miracle. And if you forgive yourself, I swear there is going to be so much restoration in the things that you are so ashamed of and that you're holding on to. Because again, with that adult industry stuff, about a year later, I joined an outreach program where we went to strip clubs and we handed out cookies and makeup and talked to the girls and just shone a light in that industry. And I was able to talk to these women from experience, and it's just incredible how God literally can take something that you are so ashamed of and flip it into this beautiful way to minister to people. So I just challenge you to truly forgive yourself, because you don't know what good can come from that. And I know there is so much guilt and shame associated with being an addict, because my brother, like I said, he's not with us anymore because he was an addict and suffered from depression and mental health issues. And that's why it's so important to follow these steps. They're not lighthearted, because if you don't forgive yourself and say, you know what, it's okay that I have been screwing up all these years, that I've done all this crazy stuff, because I'm going to be different now. If you don't do that, then that guilt is still gonna follow you, and the devil loves using guilt and shame to make you feel unworthy, to make you feel like you don't deserve anything better, and those feelings you're gonna use. I can't deal with those kind of feelings. Are you kidding me? Like, that's no way to live. There's no way to live like that. So forgiving yourself is a very serious step. And number 3 is to get a community around you. For me, this was AA and this was church. It could be Smart Recovery if you don't really like the God idea yet. It could be NA. It could be something online, because I know COVID's going on. But if you do strictly online, if places haven't opened up a lot where you live, I highly, highly suggest having an accountability partner that is in the area that you live in, that you can meet up with and do a socially distanced walk or a coffee date, because you really need to see somebody physically to help keep you accountable. Because there were so many times that I wanted to use, but I had a Bible study that I was going to the next day. So I wanted to go to that Bible study because I made new friends and I liked these girls, but I wanted to use. So I was torn. And because of being torn in 2 different directions, I always chose, okay, let's just stay sober one more day, go to the Bible study, and like see how I feel after that. And that is what will help keep you sober. And meetings like AA, all of that, the steps are so healing. If you don't do the steps, then I really think that is a struggle to walk through all of those issues that you're facing by yourself. That's why the steps are there. They're there to help you address all these issues. So I really, really think you need a sense of community when you get sober. And those are my 3 big tips. Like I said, just to wrap it up, it is surrender to God or a higher power. It is forgive yourself, and it is to have have a community around you. Have a community around you. AA, all that good stuff, church. All right, so now let's get into section 3, which is the quickest section, my life now. So now I have been sober for 9 years. I have a husband who I actually dated a little bit in high school, and we've been married for 5 years. I have all my relationships with my family completely restored. I have beautiful friends from my past that, again, God has restored those friendships. I also have beautiful new friendships. I'm starting a clothing company, designing it from scratch, that it's going to donate portions of profit to charity. I have an MBA. I have my hair back. Like, there is so much that my life has been restored to, abundantly more than I ever could have thought of, because I got sober. And that's why I think it's so important to not give up and to know that there is a way out of your story. If it's shame that's crippling you, or if it's addiction, or if it's mental health issues, or if it's suicidal thoughts, there is a way to get out. And it is through surrendering to God, and then it's through forgiving yourself and then getting help. And if that help means a hospital or rehab before you do the AA and church stuff that I told you about, then do it, because you are worth it. Your life is worth it, because who knows, someday maybe you could save somebody's life. You could tell who's suffering and be like, hey, I used to be where you were, and I can tell you how I got out. So your story could have so much purpose and weight if you let it. But if you keep running and if you keep hiding from this addiction, it's gonna eat you alive. It's going to, because it happens, okay? It happens, and it breaks my heart that it happens, but it does. And that is the reality of addiction. So please seriously take my advice and get help and follow these rules, because you are so worth it. You are so worth it. All right, you guys, I know that was a lot. Thank you for sticking with me. And if there's anything that you want me to break down in more detail, just leave a comment below, and I would be happy to do more videos on specific areas of my story. And if you want more encouragement that is faith-based, then hit that subscribe button so you can know when new videos are posted. And I can't wait to see you guys in another video very soon. God bless you. You can do it. I believe in you. You can get sober. If I did it, I swear you can do it.